So, on today's episode, we are going to be talking about the 12 domains of AI culture adoption. So, there's 12 different domains that there is when you think about getting your teams or your culture to adopt AI. Hi, I'm Dave Mahusky with Mindset Innovations Consulting, and my business partner, colleague, partner with the Precision X system, Casey Webster. Casey, say hello. I think you can hear me.
Hello.
Hello,
Great to
there we
be
go.
here with you, Dave, again.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are launching this YouTube channel, and really we're going to go after just giving some really good, valuable content to you to understand A, what is Precision X and why did we create the system, but then B, Casey and I are at the stage of our careers and our businesses that we really want to give back to teams and individuals and companies and organizations and nonprofits and whatever you want to call it. But her background is quite extensive in the higher ed background. My background is quite extensive in the manufacturing realm and developing systems and leadership and all those things. So, but we got together today to really talk about those 12 domains and really hyper focus on basically just really infinite mindset and then also like the paradigm shift with that. So when you look at the graphic that Casey is showing there, what's in the middle there? It's human first AI transformation. And so AI, when we think about AI coming into fruition, what was it, 2021, when OpenAI really started kind of getting a grasp to our fingertips, basically. Now AI has been what, 1950s is when it first started being a thing. And
Yeah,
so think about that from the 1950s all the way to, gosh, 2021, I believe is when you might know more about that than I do, but when we finally got to our fingertips and using it on our little smartphones and all that. But yeah, I think let's just dive into like infinite mindset and paradigm shift. What do you think about that?
yeah. I think the getting into that one in particular out of the 12 is really critically important because we know anything else that we talk about in relationship to AI culture adoption, it's not going to be understood or absorbed well by people who have a closed mind.
True.
So if we start there, hopefully we'll open up people's perspectives and mindsets. And we know that change is AI is inevitable. It's not going away. Change is part of life. Everybody goes through it differently. So I'm excited to dive into that. And you as the mindset coach and advocate for making progress and helping people evolve and keep up with innovation and change. I'm excited to see what you'll be able to share with everyone today.
Absolutely. So with that, um, can we look at the adoption curve?
Yeah,
How many of you guys have seen this? Like, I love this graphic because when you look at the social reaction curve to innovation, think about not only AI, but think about going from like farming is like that was our means of like how you gauged value is like, oh, if you're a farmer, like back in the day, like you were producing goods and services for people to eat and all those things, right? That was a basically that was a start, and then we went into this curve of innovation. Now we're getting to the industrial field and like the industrial stage of like how we are as a society and societal reaction to that. So what's the first one there? Ignore slash dismissal. And I think through that of like, we'll just say with AI, like when AI first came to my mind of like, what is AI? Artificial intelligence. Right away, when I thought artificial intelligence, I thought artificial intelligence. That alone tells me it's artificial. I shouldn't be even paying attention to it. And so I'm like, it's artificial. Like it's
it's not real.
yeah, it's just not real. It's to me, it's artificially not going to bother my time and my capacity in my brain because it's artificial.
Hmm. Where the reality is that That's because of how you were thinking about the word intelligence.
Yeah, it's like,
That human intelligence has got to be way better than artificial intelligence, when the
hmm
reality intelligence is intelligence.
right. To me, it's like intelligence is intelligence. Okay, intelligent. When I think of the word intelligent, I think that's already smart. But when you put artificial to it, it's kind
Hmm.
of like putting artificial sweetener in a drink. To me, it's like, is that really good for you? Is that
Right.
artificial? Should I be putting that in my system?
Hmm.
So yeah, I think about that. It's yeah. So at first I was just like, that is so true. Artificial. Like I'm not going to put my thoughts into that. That's what I was going into. And the second one there is the second phase to that is what does that say, Casey?
Mockery and ridicule.
Yeah, mockery
So
and
it's not that you
ridicule.
didn't ignore it, you just didn't like it and you were vocal about it.
Right. Yep. It was and then I think too, like, so I wasn't vocal about it, but then also Casey, think about it from this perspective. Mockery and ridicule. Have you went through that? Maybe not you because you're the AI guru, but when I look at some emails sometimes and I look at some posts, say LinkedIn, and I'll see that they did it with AI. And now
Yeah.
this was prior to let's put this at like 2023, 2024 timeframe.
Yep.
When I looked at someone's post and I thought, look at them. They are just using AI and they are not even putting their own thoughts into this. So in my own mindset, I was actually mocking people because they were taking a
Hmm.
shortcut to AI.
Hmm.
Now I'm the mindset coach. I'm the mindset guy that says we shouldn't be doing that. And I teach those things. I teach like don't
Yeah.
ridicule somebody for doing something that's efficient.
Right.
But
Right.
yet,
Because you don't know. You don't know
Mhm.
to what extent they utilized AI to get them to ideate and to edit and to write. You just don't know. You made an assumption.
Exactly. Made an assumption. And so then it's
Yep.
like, and like the long dashes. Have you heard of the long dashes? Have you heard about that? Where people are
Yeah.
like,
The M
oh
dashes.
my,
There's a
the
lot
M
of people that
dashes?
are mad about the fact that now that AI has a reputation of using M dashes. I heard there was a YouTube video out there and somebody was saying, I'm really mad because I've always used M dashes, but now that AI uses M dashes and it's a bad thing, I have to stop using my favorite M dashes because people think I'm writing with AI, but it's really me. I'm really writing it. It's just because I like them. So yeah,
Right.
it's interesting. You know, Dave, I have a perfect example of mockery and ridicule. The I belong to this book club and out on Facebook, social media, where you read a book and you give your opinions on how good that book was for people who are avid readers. And I had created a custom, basically it's a custom like GPT that after I read a book, I ask it, and it basically I give it the book and the title, and I say, let's dialogue and have discussion, self-reflection around this book. And it'll ask me questions based on the book, discussion questions. So I can say, what's I read the book. What are the, so what, now what? Like, were there any applications to my life? Like, what are the takeaways? What are the insights that can actually move the needle for me in terms of what I learned about the book? And so in my social media group, I shared it. I shared the prompt to to do that with my open AI. It was crazy. I had so many people, like I had people that were angry. Like someone said, "Get friends. You need to just join a book club. You need people to talk to. Don't talk to AI. It's not a person." And I'm thinking, I literally said I put it out there to help me with my self-reflection. That's I wanted it to help me think of discussion questions and to self-reflection. Not that I wanted to talk to people about the book. I wanted to self-reflect. That's literally all that it was. It was like drama llama land. It was crazy.
Oh
They
my
were in
God.
mockery. There were many, many people in mockery. There were other people in the group that were actually like defending me. I didn't even have a chance to like respond. People was just going crazy. And somebody actually, there was almost like hostility around it. And then there were people on there that are like, I think that's a great idea. I use it for, picking books. I use it for inventorying what I've read. I use it for researching an author. And so people were stepping up. Well, clearly those folks are in the probably acceptance phase.
Hmm. Yep, exactly. In the acceptance phase, and yeah, what's the next phase there? It's kind of hard for me to see that.
So we go from mockery, ridicule, resistance to hostility, debate and engagement,
Yep.
adoption, acceptance, and then dependence and integration.
Some of us are probably at the dependence and integration stage because if they didn't have AI, they would be lost. They're
Yeah,
already at that stage now.
yeah,
And others are still ignoring it.
yeah.
I know of quite a few people that are turning an eye to it. They're like, nope, I don't
Hmm.
want to touch AI. And even with their culture and their team, they're saying, and they're the CEO of a company, they're saying, we're not going to touch AI because the moment we start touching AI and we let people in our organization start touching that AI, they could leak out so much information. I don't trust it.
Hmm. The newsflash, though, the reality is they're using AI. Those employees are using AI
Yes.
already. We have a whole other module on that, Dave, within our 12 domains that we'll talk about. Shadow AI is a
Mhm.
problem. People are
Isn't it
using it.
interesting too of
Hmm.
like even though CEOs are saying, nope, we're not doing it. I told my team members we're not doing it. Well, think
They're
about
doing
back
it.
when the banks were doing, they were literally going like, okay, 9 times 3 equals 27. Like they were literally writing this down on a sheet of paper. And that's how they made their living because they added up numbers with a pen and paper. And then you introduce the calculator.
Yeah.
And so, what do you think is going to happen with that person if the CEO of the bank says, we're not using calculators. We're going to make sure that we're going to make sure that we are going to write these numbers down because we are accurate. We're not going to trust
They're
that
using
battery
them.
powered system. Or it might have been plugged in those days. I don't know. I
Yeah.
wasn't there. But so it's still it's like the same concept. People
It
are going to
is.
use them to their advantage,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
even
and
if you
think
say
about the
no.
cell phone, right? Think about that. You still have people that don't have a smartphone. They prefer the flip phone.
True, true. A buddy of
They
mine,
have
a really
not
good buddy of mine,
integrated.
he still uses a flip phone. And actually, we were at a race one time just recently.
Yeah.
A couple, I'll say a couple years ago now, but he came with me and we were down in Knoxville, Iowa for the races. And he had his flip phone and he put it on the bleachers next to us.
Yeah.
And a gal in front of us noticed it and she's like, "Oh my gosh, is that a flip phone?" So she grabs it and starts holding it up in front of everybody and was waving it
Yeah.
around. And he's like, "No, no, that's my phone." And she thought it was a joke. But he goes, "No, that's my phone. That's my means of communication. I need that back." Well,
Wow.
then, ironically, ironically, he forgets it on the bleachers. And
That's how important it was.
how important, yeah. He, he forgets it on the bleachers. We walked down. We went to go use the restroom before we left the track. And all of a sudden he's like, "Dave, I don't have my phone. I don't have my phone. Where's my phone?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And he's like, "We got to go back up there." So we went up to the stands. We couldn't
Yep.
find it. And then I thought, you know what? I should just call it and see if anybody answers
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And so I call it, and all of a sudden someone answers it. And I could not believe it. Here was a security guard for the racetrack that was
Had it
had it, but she was trying to get inside the phone
and
and
couldn't.
somehow find like a contact or somebody to say
Uh-huh.
like, "Hey, I have this person's phone. Can you let them know that I have their phone?" She was like trying to figure it out.
Because it
She
was
had,
the older version of a phone
yeah,
and she was a smartphone user.
she had no idea how to use an old flip phone. And
Yeah.
so it was so I'm so glad I experienced that because truly that's how, and not that his head is in the sand, but like he still texts like "Doot, doot, 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 doot." Like if he's gonna send, what is it, like I can't remember now, like was it ABC is like two, so
Yeah.
like if he's gonna say like C, he's gotta say two three times, so like
Uh-huh.
"Doot, doot, doot, doot," like, so I mean he's
How
still in that
inefficient is
realm.
that? Yeah.
And he just like, I don't need the smartphone, and that's just his mentality. Nothing wrong. Actually, I wish I had still his mentality, but I mean, when you're in an innovation company, you got to keep innovating. So we're
Yeah.
not that way, but it's
Yeah.
just it's very neat. It's simple. Anyway, I just went on a tangent
Yeah.
about how we think, but
But it's
really,
relevant because when we think of the social reaction curve to innovation, everybody shows up differently.
hmm
The thing that's really predictive about it, however, is that everybody goes through these phases, just some faster than others. And the reality is, we know if it has to happen anyway, if these phases, if it has to happen and where everybody in society is going to continue to be pushing, the wave's not going to level out. The wave is here. The wave is here to stay. It's going to matter. Those
hmm
that ride the wave faster, actually, history shows they will be ahead. And
hmm
being ahead in the business world with the AI era is critically important because if they're far enough ahead, people won't be able to catch up. It'll create
right.
that competitive mode.
Well, then I think too of like uh, if you're offended of how far it's gone or whatever, then you just found your edge of your paradigm.
Exactly. So think about OpenAI, and everybody talks about ChatGPT.
hmm
OpenAI in 3 years time. Actually, it wasn't even 3 years. It was like 2 years time. And it was like 24 months. Within 24 months, 300 million users signed up for OpenAI.
Mm,
Now,
wow.
the equivalent, just for context sake, it took the Internet of Things, so everybody acknowledging and believing and getting through the social adoption curve with the Internet, it took the Internet of Things 6 years to be accepted,
Mm,
its existence.
hmm
So, putting that into perspective, AI is faster than any other innovation that has come. And it's not just one technology,
mm,
it's a market redefining moment because it's touching
mhm.
everything.
So true. Isn't that crazy?
It's like the cell phone and the steam engine moment and cloud computing and, moving to DVRs and on demand versus VHS tapes. It's like all of that, 10 times that
hmm
in terms of speed.
Yeah. So with the PX system, and this is something that we're really passionate about, is that we have to understand this curve and that everybody, when I say everybody, everybody down to every employee of a company or even just you and I just being us, like we're all on this level. Like before we started recording this, I said, Casey, where are you at on this level? And then you
Mm-hmm.
explain where you're at. And I said, yeah, I think I'm actually here too, and even though we were similar, but we were still different at where we were
Mm-hmm.
on that line. And so it's yeah, so I think about like when you and I first started talking about the PX system and being
Mm-hmm.
precise and precision and all that, and your company, Profit Quiver, is really kind of has that metaphor to that, where you have a bow, you have arrows, and you're trying to hit your targets and be profitable in your company with that kind of
Mm-hmm.
mentality. And then you're using AI with it, and it was with my company, Mindset Innovations Consulting, at the core is innovation, whether that's
Mm-hmm.
with your mind or with systems that you can put in place in the production facility. And so it's a
Yeah.
no-brainer to put your level of expertise with my level of expertise. And I'm not saying I'm the end all. People are like, oh my gosh, Dave, you're such a leadership expert. No, I'm just a person that enjoys leadership and I continue to learn and
Yeah.
evolve just like
Yeah.
everybody else does. And
Well, let's go
so,
back to this. This will just what you're speaking on. Your expertise really comes in that area of loving on culture
hmm yep.
and knowing that social adoption curve. I, as an AI person, we know it's proven that if we lead with the technology, adoption lags. Why? Because technology is there for people to leverage and to use. And if people don't buy into its value, And for a variety of reasons, people don't. We'll talk a lot about these other sections. So somebody has to help me in making sure that we have, a full holistic view of the culture. And as we
Hmm.
start to navigate, it takes a village of an organization. It's going to take all of us, including the leadership, the teams. We can define what's possible with AI, but we can't start with the technology. We have to start with what are the pain points that the people are having? What are the challenges that people are trying to solve? And if
So,
we can't even get beyond mindset, we're never going to get to workflows. We're never going to get to technology.
what are some of those pain points that we're hearing?
Yeah. So fear of or anxiety around, am I going to be incompetent? Am I not going to know how to use this technology? Am I going to be another fear might be, am I going to be replaced? Am I going to be replaced with this technology? I'm overwhelmed by it. I don't want to learn anything new. I hate change. People say that.
Hmm.
Um, just and other things. Some people talking about the mindset. They just they don't. They like consistency. They like having everything black and white. They maybe don't want to think creatively, think innovatively, and they're stuck in their finite moment.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
that isn't how AI can engage with them.
Right. Right. And that's the key. So when you think about infinite or finite, like having that infinite mindset of if you get really, really good at doing really, really good prompts, you're probably going to have a good experience with, well, I'll just use OpenAI, ChatGPT. You're
Hmm.
probably going to have a very profound experience with that based on the prompts that you put into it. Is that a correct statement?
It is because AI is predicated on the importance of having data,
Hmm.
garbage in, garbage out. You you have to know exactly. And the interesting thing about OpenAI, if you're talking about generative AI, so which is different than chatbot, what you're going to get with OpenAI, it's generative. It will be confidently incorrect. So
Mm.
you're not going to know if it's right or wrong because you don't know what you don't know. But you need to make some assumptions that what you do know is that it's going to be confidently incorrect if you don't iterate and you don't refine and continually evolve. There's this thing they call it prompt engineering. The word engineering goes with prompt because you're engineering the prompts. You're not just doing I'm going to put one prompt in, I'm going to get one output, and I'm running to the bank on that. That just isn't how
Mhm.
it works. Um, and the quality of how you do it. And so that's all the training that has to
Mhm.
happen. But it starts with being human. It
Mhm.
starts with being able to be thinking about what is it that I need to accomplish, and then thinking through in my own intellect. I can only think so far,
Mhm.
but by partnering with a generative open AI, it can actually challenge you to amplify your creativity and to think further. Because the risk when it comes to mindset is going to be thinking small.
Mhm. Having that finite
Staying stuck
mindset.
in thinking small is going to be the biggest challenge for people starting to use AI because we're going to be freed to think beyond our own limits.
Mhm.
And that isn't even talking about, artificial superintelligence. Artificial superintelligence is going to have the processing ability that is way faster than the human brain. So the ability to get information processed faster, why would you choose a slower way of getting that synthesized when you can have the faster way?
Right.
You
exactly.
wouldn't, right?
And yeah, and so going back to like infinite or finite and infinite and all that. So like let's define that. Finite is really like, oh, it's protection, it's avoiding risk, it's you know, proving self, or just has those like short-term wins, when you think about that from a finite. And then if you think about, an infinite and what you're just saying, like you're going to learn fast of what prompts are actually, doing well, and then it's going to build capability, and then it's going to create long-term thinking, especially when you're using like your open AI and the
Hmm.
more, if you're using different levels of subscription or whatever, like it's gonna learn from you and you're gonna learn from it. So it's the long-term thing, and then progress over perfection. And that's kind of the infinite mindset. So it's results follow beliefs and behaviors when you
Yeah,
think of it
I'm
that
gonna
way.
change slides on us here and pull up this slide. So I like this visual.
Oh yeah.
I like this visual because I kind of get the sense that when you don't know what you don't know,
Hmm.
and then you suddenly discover something that you wish you had known, it's
Hmm.
like an awakening.
It definitely is. Yep.
It's
Yep.
like, oh, got it. It's like that epiphany moment. And then you think you can never go back to not knowing it. And so you're coming into the light and you have meaning. You have meaning on something.
Hmm.
And truly, you can use these systems to safely explore, challenge your thinking.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know, Dave, have I shared with you the mind mapper GPT? There's a
Hmm.
mind mapper GPT, and literally you can start your day with it, and you're asking it to, let's talk about mindset today, and then it'll come back and it'll say, oh, do you want to talk about health, wellness, work, personal, and they give it a topic, and you can literally, it'll give you a discussion question, and it'll ask you to give your opinion and your mindset on that. And then it tries to stretch your mindset, because building mindset, you're the expert on this. What's it take?
Hmm.
What's it take to change your mind?
Right. Exactly. Can we do a demo of that? Do you have that
Yeah,
mindset
we could
mapper?
do a
I think
demo on that.
I think it'd
Let
be
me get that. Yeah,
I think
let
it'd be
me get
great to
that.
just
Let me get
showcase
that pulled up.
what that looks like.
It's one of my favorites. Although some days I think, oh, I woke up with a closed mind. I need to work on that mindset
Well,
of mine today.
at the end of the day, we're all human.
We're all human. We are, we are. Let me open this up. Get to the right workspace. Let's see, mindset mapper. I'm going to share my screen over here. You have to let me know if you can see this, Dave. You're going to see all of my GPTs that I have going.
Well, if you're offering high level AI, you should probably have a lot of them.
Yeah, I have a lot of them. I have too many of them. Now you can never have too many. So let me know if you can see that. So this is our open AI. I'm using um, obviously ChatGPT, and I'm using for this particular mindset, I'm using a 4.0 model. So let's just play this. Let's play this out. So you would use this to basically take and challenge and uncover your thinking when you're thinking small and you need to think big on something. So let's just play together and show you how this works. So it's going to ask me, it's going to say, hey, are you ready to shift your mindset? Sure, I'm here. Let's begin. So let's see how I want to do this on a daily basis. Yes, I'm ready. Okay, we get to choose. Dave, do you want to pick? What's an area of your
Okay.
life that you think we should explore today for our viewers?
I don't know if it's just me or it's really hard to see that for me.
Here, let me
Can
make
you
it larger.
I see it, but I don't see it. Yeah, go larger there. Okay, there we go.
Is that better?
There we go. So let's see. How about wealth and money?
Wealth and money.
Because I think
Okay.
it resonates with a lot of people. They want a lot of
Yeah.
wealth and a lot of
Yeah.
money.
Okay. What's your plan for growing your income this year, Dave?
Hmm. Um, boy, let's see. Making a lot of money. Do I just put it as simple as that?
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not my, I mean, my personal goals, I guess, are, doing a really good job, focusing on my clients and customers and making sure I focus on their problems and being a good practitioner for
Okay.
them.
So
But I
that's
think,
the answer to the second question. What's the actual strategy or method you're currently counting on to make a lot of money? Focusing on your customers?
yeah, we can just do it towards, I was trying to do it generic, but yeah, let's just do it for me. Yeah, let's see, from an entrepreneur side or standpoint, is to hyper, hyper focus on my customers' problems.
So what would you do differently if you already had all the money you needed, but still wanted to create value for others?
I'd hyper focus on their problems because at the end of the day, what's Dave's legacy? What is he doing now in this life to help the betterment of other people? So the good book says, be, do, have. So be the person that we should be. So like, there's the Ten Commandments, all that, but like
Hmm.
be that person, do the thing that you said you're going to do, and you're going to have abundance. So if I follow that principle, that means that I'm gonna just it goes right back to just that. I'm gonna hyper focus on people's problems and trying to help them out.
But there's nothing you would do differently. If you had all the money in the world versus not having all the money in the world, it would still be the same. Regardless of money, you'd still hyper focus on solving my customers' problems to deliver value. Okay.
Yeah, so unless I want to go sit on an island somewhere, but
Okay.
that's not my DNA.
So our co-pilot here identified finite mindset detection. You're tying your income growth to hyper focusing on your customer problems, which is smart and service driven. But there's a hidden limit. You're still building from the outside in based on others' problems rather than the inside out from your unique genius, vision, or desired lifestyle. You're
Mm,
optimizing for value in reaction to needs, which can cap creativity, joy, and leverage. So the infinite reframe is, what if wealth wasn't just a reward for solving problems, but the byproduct of expressing your unique brilliance in the most effortless, expansive way possible, and then designing systems that serve others at scale? Your new mindset statement for the day: I generate wealth by expanding my genius, not just solving problems. And then it will give you an exercise too. So in this particular example, write down 3 things you love doing that feel natural, energizing, and valuable, even if no one asked for help or asked for them. Then ask, how could I turn this into a system others benefit from automatically? Would you like to go deeper, choose another category, or end your session? So you can see how a tool like this
hmm
could
Yeah.
exercise and build your muscle.
Well, yeah, and it's so nice that like right there, what would you like to do? Go deeper, choose another get. Like it is truly a mindset mapper for you. And I use this, sometimes too with clients, but it's so much fun to be able to now I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole a little bit
Yep.
because we should. And I was just thinking about this the other day, Casey. So I'm thinking about how, so even like this, the mindset mapper, when you give, how do I tee this up? So when I give a prompt, I give the prompt and it says, "Oh, that is smart, Dave. Good move." And then it blah, 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 does this. Now you've been in higher ed and different things. Let's say you and I are not on this meeting and we're talking about two different people and there's let's say like you, for example, on this meeting,
Yep.
and you're talking to a 9-year-old. that's
Yep.
in this. I'm gonna tee it up this way. So a 9-year-old's prompts are gonna be different than your prompts.
Yep.
So when a 9-year-old prompts and says, if they're doing a mindset map or whatever, like, how do I get all the toys in the world? And it spits out like, oh, I like how you think. Let's do this. So like, I was thinking about this the other day. I go, in my head, I'm like, interesting. So that kind of gives the validation of the prompts and how good of how well or how you do these prompts. But eventually, like, okay, like the 9-year-old's thinking that they're doing a really good job because AI is going to say like, oh, good job, good prompt, or, good ask and whatever. But like, how do we get past that like a mindset? And this is funny. This is kind of ironic me saying this, but like
Hmm.
as a AI guru and giving value
Hmm.
to the people out in the world, like when we give these prompts and saying that you're good, but a person that has more intelligence or higher IQ is doing the same thing and they're getting a different result, like what are some techniques there that we can give them to say like, is it all just prompting? Is that the end all?
No, it's not. I think I guess I'd go back to say, open AI, you have to remember the under the hood of generative AI is a large language model. And a
Hmm.
large language model is is a model with algorithms, and it's extracting it's built to extract data, the words, the natural language processing. It's basically taking all of the every word. There's a neural network, and every word, like in our brain, when we think of a word, our brain creates meaning around it. What happens is we've got to when an open AI company when they put out a new model, it has to be trained.
Hmm.
The algorithms are trained and practiced. So you have to know that it's only going to give you a baseline, and you have to have your human gifts in order to be able to critically think, in order to validate, in order to iterate, evolve, assess. Now, it's really good for synthesis of information. It is not reliable for data wrangling in terms of labeling and annotating for that reason. Let me give
Right.
you an example of that. Let's say surveys. We fill a lot of surveys out in life, right? You get a survey, and okay, every time you buy something or you go to the doctor and you get a survey. Anything else that you would like to give for feedback, let's say on the survey. Most of the time, people will type something. That's qualitative data. It's what somebody said, and it's a verbatim, usually, that they want to share. AI, and let's say we were a company and we wanted to get all that verbatim qualitative data back. And all that data goes into a system. AI cannot discern what does that verbatim, how do we want to, as a company, categorize that verbatim? Maybe somebody said something about customer service. Maybe they said something about speed of getting their item sent to them. We have to tell the system, it's like we have to crosswalk it. We have to say, this verbatim should be matched with this type of insight. This piece of verbatim should be attached with this type of insight, because otherwise it's all there. It doesn't have the context to be able to anchor and label and annotate. So when you're putting it in and you're wanting to get results, so that's just an example. If you're not knowledgeable in what is happening under the hood with OpenAI, you need to understand what is it capable of and what isn't capable of, never to trust it the first time out, and to train it, building a master prompt for yourself for OpenAI is another way of doing that. How many of you
That's
maybe have noticed, so you can think on this, and Dave, you've probably noticed this. If you work with your let's say your chat GPT model, after a while, you don't even have to tell it who you are.
Oh yeah. It's hey, I need to respond to this in a way that whatever, you don't even have to do that anymore. It'll
Yeah,
start learning it. When we do Precision X, we do it for people and teaching them how to use the chat GPT to their advantage, whether it's creating an email or whatever.
yeah,
Eventually it updates its memory, and especially if you are manually doing it, you can update it. But yeah, it just updates its memory and it starts knowing that like you're going to respond a certain way. But then again, you
yeah,
have to, as new models come out, like you've talked about, there's hallucinations and it's not always right. And
yeah.
people just think it's like, boop, it spit it out, it's correct, and okay, copy paste, go.
So, our mindset around using these tools, there's massive paradigm shifts that have to be made.
Hmm.
One of those critically important paradigm shifts that we have to, recognize and lean into is thinking we let's just look at the old mindset. The old mindset of people show up to work, they think from the framework of I'm here to provide labor, to do something, to share my expertise on what that is that I'm doing, right? The value of me showing up to work is creating an output, doing a task and getting an output. The technology that can do an output or do what I do better, faster, is going to create a sense of maybe I'm going to be replaced, that kind of mindset. So we talked about that. In the new world of work and in the AI era, I'm going to stop sharing this screen for a minute. In that world, what we're really thinking is that humans need to be viewed as sense makers. Humans need to be viewed as decision architects. Humans need to be digesting outputs, judging the output, working with the output, being creative with the output, applying an ethical context to the output, evaluating risk around the output to bring value.
Hmm.
Where before bringing value was bringing output. Now we're given the output, but the so what, now what about the output is our job now
Hmm.
in this new world. So
It's so
AI in
fascinating.
that sense is amplifying the human cognitive ability to be infinite thinking,
Hmm.
and it's bringing that to life. It's also amplifying and helping bring forward a new collaborative way of getting work done. Because we used to be able to, we have knowledge, we do something, we have output, we give it to somebody else. Our power and influence and leverage is sharing our intelligence, sharing our knowledge. In the new world of work and thinking about AI and just from humanity perspective, our ability to influence, bring value, and drive impact is going to come in our ability to help others ingest, judge, evaluate, orchestrate, discern around systems. So isn't going to be a leader isn't going to get promoted, for example, because they know something. A leader is going to get promoted because of the important part of the new skills of the new AI era is how are you collaborating and orchestrating systems in order to get everybody using that ecosystem of intelligence.
Hmm. Yeah, and then there's still the leaders that if they have a conflict on the floor, they go to their office and they type in the
Mm-hmm.
open AI and they say, "I have this person doing this and this person saying this. How do I handle this?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It happens right now, and it's
yeah,
it's not wrong. Hey, you're
yeah.
using a tool to help you with your leadership skills. but there's still that human element to it of, you know, how do we how do we teach people at on the spot and then use AI as like
Hmm.
a framework for future, I mean, it's just it's
It's
fascinating.
incredible. Yeah, we're not automating work. We're re-architecturing how value is created now.
Hmm. Yep.
And there's just, that's just one paradigm shift.
Yeah, that's just one paradigm shift. And
There's
I wanted to
49
bring
more.
up the 9-year-old and you because when you go to a chat, OpenAI chat, it's like, oh, you're a great thinker. It's a 9-year-old. And then you go to it and you're like, oh, that's very executive level thinking. And then, you're still getting like that same output, but to your point, it's like that's how it was made.
So do you mind if I go off script for a minute?
That's
I want to try something else new. I'm going to create I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. I'm going to show you this. Let me show you this. Okay. Are you seeing my OpenAI again?
yes.
Okay. I'm going to give my OpenAI a prompt that I'm going to have it evaluate me, and it's going to evaluate me of what persona am I.
Hmm.
Have you ever tried that?
No.
Okay. So when I work with my OpenAI, just like you would work with your OpenAI, it kind of builds up a history of what you care about. And over time, it has developed because of your words and how you're, again, garbage in, garbage out. It's synthesized the questions, the work, your projects, how you're working on things. You can actually ask it for giving back to you a mirror. So let me show you. I'm just going to kind of think, and I'm going to type this prompt in here. Um, I'm purposefully writing this prompt in a way that would be like maybe a 9-year-old, 12-year-old. I'm not being AI Casey consultant because I want to show you what this will do.
And what is your just so we can see it, it's what was your
What are the
question?
top 3 persona that you have defined for me when using you?
And this is from a 9-year-old?
Probably not, but 12-year-old, 13-year-old.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So this is what we call a meta move. Now let me explain what that means. A meta move basically is everything that we put in to a large language model is metadata. Metadata compiles over time, and it connects. You remember that when you were a kid, I don't know if your children played with them, those magnetic things. They're like these little pieces and they were magnetics and they would magnetize together and you could make like things out of them.
Oh yeah.
So think of metadata like that. You put something in and then you put something else in there that's relatively related to that. It's going to stick to that. And then
Hmm.
something else that sticks to that. So it's building a meta database, metadata. So the top 3 personas that I implicitly, basically, when it's working with me, there are 3 that I asked for. A visionary strategist, primary persona. How do I use it? How you use me in this mode. So it shows most of the time when I'm using my OpenAI, I'm coming at it from the mindset of I'm using my OpenAI to help me be a visionary strategist. Now, this is no surprise to me because I expect from OpenAI when I iterate with it, I make it give me clear frameworks. I don't like fluff. I don't like it to give me puppy dogs and rainbows. I expect it to have a level of rigor because I'm always going back and I'm prompting it strategically. I also
What else
expect
with
it to give
feeling?
me trade offs and risks.
That is interesting, and that's so valuable to know and understand that, because now that might change your prompting to ensure that you're continually growing that database, that metadata that you're talking about.
Yeah. And the business value, right? So it even tells me that. Why am I using it? Because I'm looking for directional advantage. How can I future proof my business? How can we work on our IP and advance that in terms of our
Mhm.
discipline, our value to customers for the Precision X program? And also, how can I position, as an authority? So I may have an idea and I may dump my brain human thinking into my AI. I do that a lot. And it's going to continue, I'm going to continue to vet that idea and to work through that. So let's look at what it said for the second one. Not surprised. I work with a lot of institutions. I do a lot of training. So it says I'm a thought leader and a public educator.
Mhm. Yep.
And the third one, systems and soul. I love that. Values, people, systems, and technology into something coherent and sustainable. That's the Precision X right there.
That's awesome. So let me wrap this whole
Yep.
podcast up, or whatever you want to call this. Can you give a so probably not, because I'm just trying to think in my head, like, so when I think about like OpenAI, and we
Mm-hmm.
went down the infinite mindset trail, paradigm shifting. We talked about what has to happen, and we talked about all those things, and we started really diving into this super valuable content of AI and all that. And to kind of close up shop here, um, is are is there people, or is there people using AI to basically, is because there's bad people out there, right? And so, like, are they
Mm-hmm.
using like OpenAI to like get into like workplaces and try to get those IP? When you think about, like, I think about from a perspective of like, if you're putting your internal IP on an OpenAI, are people going into it and like stealing that? Is that possible? Like, is that a thing that companies should be worried about? Like, I mean,
Absolutely.
people are,
Absolutely. There's two sides of there's good and bad in life in everything.
yep.
Think of sugar. We
Hmm.
love sugar. Can too much sugar be bad for you? Sure, some people would say any sugar is bad for you.
Yeah.
Think of wine. In Europe, they usually have everybody has at least a glass a day, right? So it's moderation. So there's always the good and the bad in extremes. What I would
Depends how
say
depends how
is
big
that
your cup is.
yes,
Is your cup this big, or is it this big? Oh, can't see that one.
my cup is this big. I have a very big cup, but it's not wine. It's
Hmm.
iced tea. So, but when you think about the AI for good, right? People say AI for good. Yes, businesses need to protect. If we look at the 12 domains of cultural, you know, AI culture adoption, we have a whole module that's on just security risk
Yeah, that'll
and, and,
become.
and how we set that up because we want to make sure that people have settings in their open AI. You can set your preferences and you can shut it off so it's not whatever you put in your open AI is not going to go back into the model for the world to learn from.
That'd be very good for, especially the companies that are not wanting to integrate AI
Mm-hmm.
yet, but man, their employees are using it left and
They
right.
are.
They're on that adoption curve that we saw earlier.
Yeah.
And so that'll be another episode.
Yep.
And that really ties it. Let's put a bow on this episode, Casey. That really ties of to why we're doing this channel, this Precision X YouTube channel, is because we want to give real raw like value to our not only our viewers or whatever, but also our clients, our customers, and all that. But
Hmm.
then just the general public in general, like this is really gold content that we just kind of regurgitated. Yeah, we could have sold this content, but really our legacy is like going after like doing good, be do have,
Yep.
like we talked about earlier. So
Hmm.
be the person, do the things, and it's gonna come back to us. So um
Yeah. It's, I think if I would put a bow on it, I would say this. People who fear AI don't yet see, they're not in that, far enough on that curve. They don't yet see the clarity of what AI could be and truly is.
yeah, exactly.
And we're in an education phase. Only 1% of companies can honestly be reported as AI mature. And, and that's according to McKinsey and data that they've been collecting and sharing. If you think about the speed and the change rate of speed and change, it's not possible for any CEO or business leader. I'm certified in AI and I'm in school 3 days a week, and I can't keep up with the
Mhm.
rate of change very easily. But I do because it's like the hose is on me all the time with this topic. So for just anybody, it's not possible. And that's why, when you said, hey, let's get together and let's do this and let's deliver value, you're absolutely spot on because it's about the impact. You've been doing consulting for many, many years. I've been doing consulting, helping, but not AI. AI is new, right? As far as the common for everybody now, everybody's going to have it. It's going to turn into like Wi-Fi, where it's just going to be table stakes. It is, it's here. But we want to be making sure that people are using it responsibly, that they feel empowered by it, and that cultures and organizations are not leaving their people behind.
That's awesome. Well, Casey, I really appreciate your time and talking through this AI stuff, and you know, it was fun
And I learned from you too. This has been fun, Dave.
yeah, absolutely. And it's fun to show the visuals, and I'm still learning AI. I'm nowhere near your level of expertise with AI when it comes to that. And you shared some modules, and it's so fun to be able to help, not only like customers and clients, but it's so fun to just help family members and people in general with this new technology that we're in and this new phase and era, and it's exciting. And who knows where it's going to go? It's going to be pretty awesome, I think.
It's not going to stop going.
Yeah, it's not going to
That I
stop.
do
We're going to
know.
be like, oh, we tried, didn't work, we're done.
Where's it going to take us? And I don't know about you, but I'm ready to go places and to see what it's going to do. And why? Because I think it can give people back valuable time to focus on the higher quality level work that is innately in us.
Because what do we say about time? It's not money.
Time is not money. Your
People are like,
gifts and
what is?
creativity to bring
Yeah.
value with who you are is. Yeah,
Yep. Time is something that we cannot get back. And
that's
money
right.
is something that we can replenish. So time is not money.
That's right.
All right, Casey, I really appreciate this. This has been great. And we're going to keep this going. So look forward to seeing more of this content. Like, subscribe, share. If you found value in this, we'll put some descriptions below too of the Precision X landing page.
Yep.
So if you want to learn more about Precision X and what we have to offer and talk about your pain points as a customer,
Mhm.
and truly, what's the payoff with going to precisionxs.com and finding both Casey and myself to help with your company? Because you
Yep.
know, it's amazing how you and your talents and not to just be like, oh, look what Dave can do too, but ours and our talents, that mindset coming together and it's truly when we put on our landing page, two powerhouses coming together to really change the world. And so we're two people, our companies, and what we're doing, and we're two companies, and I think part of our legacy is let's change that world and let's help people. So
Yeah, let's just roll
fantastic,
up our sleeves.
fantastic stuff. So look for the next one. It'll be coming out soon. So we'll pick another one of the 12
Yep.
cultural. We'll look at that wheel and we'll just pick another one.
Yeah.
So
And reach out. Yep. Click
there
our
you
link.
go.
Keep learning.
Thanks so much, Casey.
Awesome.